Three, two, one, go, go, go. 1 second, it's your boy XX Roofy. Oh, love those leather seats and that new ride. Here we go. Ace 10, dodging it. Ace 10, dodging it. Cut, Cowboys. Rocking and rolling, steam rolling. Definitely a hand that you love to see. Can't wait to raise. I want that action. You know when you want the action, that's when you know you got a good hand. When you don't want the action, it's probably when you should get rid of it. Did I just walk? Look at that. I walked him and he shows queens. Is that crazy? Because at first you're like, it did not fold around to you on the button and you folded ace 10. And the guy shows queens. I love it. That's got to be the highlight of this entire reel. I swear. That was so freaking money. Nobody folds ace 10 right there. You know what they do? They raise and get freaking popped and schooled. And they don't even know what hit them. I'll tell you what hit them. Queens. Ace queen holds up without hitting. Look at that. Up against ace 7 and dirty ace 10. Love to see that pre-flop fold. I mean, seriously, what else are you going to do? Sure enough, flop's no good. Action's no good. Save and gain. Bob and weave and jab. Got a duck. Bob and weave. Look at this. Open-ended straight flush draw into top pair. What are you gonna do? Guy bets. Pretty chunky for this level, but you know it's a video and it's a straight flush draw. It's a rare occasion, and look at this. Who knows what he was betting, but he didn't have it, and my pair of nines holds. Can't believe it. Ace jack once again, no good. Pocket kings, I could tell you, are gonna be good. Ace jack. Once again, my favorite hand in display. Rockets. I like to raise it up a little bit more than the minimum. That might have just been a mini min click mistake. Full 1,000 mistakes daily. Pocket jacks. What do you want to do? I think you have no choice but to raise them on up. Unfortunately, when you do and you get a flop like that and a bet, what are you gonna do? You know, I think you just unfortunately say, hey, I got outdrawn. Let me get out. Let me get out of the way. I love seeing the all-in action whenever I have something like rockets, you know, and I'm curious to know what he's making that move with. And he's making it with that dirty top, which is no good. Pocket eights against a shove. Well, let's hope I was reminded that eights is a big hand, unless they're dirty diamond club eights, and then we all know it's just one big trap hand. So, right play, wrong play. It's close. But I'm going to say DQ theory, definitely a wrong play. The scenario set me up to say, hey, you know what? You can't play him every time. And sure enough, you cripple yourself with the eights. You find yourself all in with the king 10, and you're closing the window before the turn even arrives. Queen jack, once again, are you playing desperate poker? Looks like it, because you just found yourself all in a very bad spot, potentially crippling with that queen jack. Pretty embarrassing. Battle of the suited aces, and, well, best ace holds. Actually, no chop about it. I hit the nut. Ace 9. What are you going to do? Battle the blinds. Well, I like that I limp because he shoves. And a lot of the time you're going to raise fold against that shove, which, is just set up to be one big loss, which is nothing new. Ace 9 is a treacherous, murderous of a hand. I loving the ace king suited versus that dirty ace queen. Holds up like steel. Keep in mind there is a $20 qualifier mixed into these triple ups. So, it's tough to juice out the content as quickly as possible. But we are milliseconding this bad boy. And still trying to just grab the juice. That wheatgrass juice essentials. All 13 amino poker acids, amino vitamins. Ace 9. Once in a while, it's good. I think it has to be to fool us into thinking it's better than it really is. Ace king, what do you do? Heads up on a medium board, flushed board. Wow, I think at this point you just surrender and hope it holds on its own, and otherwise save your money. Looking like the low man on the totem pole. King queen? God damn, dude. How much money do we all lose with the king queen? Hurts, don't it? Eights, good for a shove. Ace 5, bringing it in for a raisey raise. I'm a fan of that 2.5x over the 2x. And sure enough, I do make a little comeback special and force this guy in for a 3-way all-in trappy trap, And he's looking crippled, oh so licious. But how sometimes it's hard to, it looks like we won that $20 ticket. And there's some of my favorite foods. Yes, that is the inside of a pumpkin. Super good for the spleen. And that was a yam and friends. Some of my favorite foods getting all steamed up for me while I hustle it up. Shoving with the UTG 3s always, never is a good thing. Rough waters whenever you have to do that. We're in a 10K knockout satellite 5 seats guaranteed. I just so far and few in between do I ever have like enough of a run to actually score these tickets, and I feel like they're just bankroll drainers, which sucks because I wish they weren't. But the truth hurts sometimes, and it definitely hurts that bankroll. A lot of the times you find me just playing these qualifiers and never playing in the tournament, when really I could be, instead of playing a $10 qualifier, I should be playing a $10 tournament, because we all know my chance of actually having success is like so much higher. I'm playing a slower structure. I'm getting way more value out of my money, and I have a better chance of making a profit. These qualifiers are turbos and long shots, which equal, not enough tickets and a lot of bankroll spent. Here we are, forced to play garbage, and once again finding ourselves out like trout. We did make it into the $50, 30 grand guaranteed nightly tournament. It's actually a really nice structure. You start off with half the stack, 5K, but the blinds are 12 minutes. It's a real nice structure, real nice tournament. And, this gives us a prime example of, hey, you finally, won a ticket. And, finally, let's see what happens. Because, interesting enough, it's that same theme of, wow, it took so much time, effort, tournament dollars to win that ticket. And then all of a sudden, you got all your tournament poker eggs in one basket. And guess what? A lot of the times it, doesn't pan out the way that you want it to. When really, hey, maybe instead of playing 10 qualifiers, you should have just played 10 low buy-in tournaments. And statistically proven, instead of going for these long shots, if you play smaller structured tournaments, lower buy-ins, with less amount of players, your success rate is going to go up. And I mean, what's the whole point of this? Is to have success and actually make some money. So maybe we should reconsider not go for the glory, not playing all the big qualifiers, but instead playing a lot of lower buy-ins, lower prize pools, and increase that success rate, Ultimately, I should be playing more tournaments for lesser buy-ins. I cannot say it enough. But it's so true. I mean, as you see, day in and day out, I spend all this time trying to play in these big tournaments, and then the big tournaments don't pan out. And it took so many bullets just to get in there. When really, maybe I should play in a, not a 30 grand guaranteed for 50 and go for the glory. Maybe I should play in a $7 tournament, the same price it costs to play in the qualifier, with a $1,000 prize pool. And then guess what? You only have 150 players. And guess what? 20% of that can get paid. So guess what? Now all of a sudden, you just have to get like top 30 or 40 out of 100 and 150. Your chances are going to go way up. And if it doesn't happen, you only spent $7, but you got a lot more value out of it than you did if you tried to just play in that turbo qualifier. As you can see, it's not looking so hot. A lot of maybes, a lot of miss, a lot of bricks. I mean, sometimes it's really hard to get value, and it's a lot easier to give chips than to get chips. Dang. Look what it takes to win with ace jack. Pretty much the nut straight. And it's like, what's going to pay you off? Like nothing. But you can see if you can just win a hand or two, get up to a healthy point again. I'm not seeing the love with this ace queen suited. I'm seeing bricks put up after brick after brick. But it's hard not to follow through. Problem is when you follow through and they call, you're in a bad spot. Can you go for value? Are you just happy to check back? If you get check raise, are you going to be in dire straits? Sure enough. Lost to the straight. Chip stock is looking weak, like desperation, calling my name, hence the ace 8 DQ getting played. And if you hit two pair like that, you're just going to have to continue with it. Now, if we had the balls, not saying it's the right move, but if we got it in bad with king queen suited, we would have won a triple up. But as you can see, it would have been a major suck out as we're dominated on both ends. Good fold, bad outcome. But then again, you look back and you think, wow, blinds are big. I'm super short stacked. What am I really doing? Well, I'm playing King Queen against Ace Rag. And you know what? King Queen's got to come through once in a while, right? I mean, we all know King Queen looks way better than Ace 3, although it's like a miracle that I can actually score in that spot with the luck that I usually have with that hand. And it's like, if you know you're up against that Jace, do you want to take that spot? I mean, shit, it's like I have like 6 outs. And then if anyone folded, I could have 5, 4, 3, 2 outs. Really not a good spot. And he has a weak ace, and it's like not that good of a spot. That's really sad. Folds around to you. You got ace 8. You got 3K left. You're looking at about 1,000 in there. So technically, you're in the dead zone, red zone, with an M of 3. You really have no choice. And you know what? I mean, here's an interesting spot because you got a raise and a shove. And I'll tell you this. I remember now that I look back and totally regretted making that fold against that shove. He probably had something like ace queen, ace jack, ace king. And you know what? He had outs that someone else probably had. And unfortunately, I folded that. And I find myself all in with queen 10. And I'm shutting down the screen before it even hits, thinking, what the hell did you just do? You passed on 8s with like 5K, and then your stack gets crippled, and you get it in with a crippled hand. So it's like, wow. You look back and you think, I had 5K with action with 8s, and I could have went up to like 12 Gs, in that chance, but instead I lost half my stack and got it in bad against 2 other players for a fraction of the stack that I could have gained. Valuable lesson to be learned, something that we should already have known, that we already do know, but sometimes we need to get reschooled, re-lessoned. Look back and you think, wow, you folded 8s? Remember, sometimes we get scared out of 8s when we're up against like an all-in, but just remember 8s, 9s, 10s, jacks, queens, kings, aces, okay? It's part of the best hand group, okay? The guy could have easily had 6 outs, and if someone folded any of his outs, he's at 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. And if someone doubled it before him, there's a chance that they had one of his outs. Puts him at 5, maybe 4. And don't forget, we can always hit an 8 to lock it up. So, you play this tournament for a few hours, and then it comes down to, you see like a raise and an all-in, and you got 8s. What are you going to do? You need to remember that you don't have time. You don't have time. You don't have time to wait for a better spot. A better spot is not coming. Your better spot is right now. So you better take it, because if you don't, you're going to end up with queen 10 versus a couple of monsters dominating you. And on the flop, you're going to be drawn freaking dead. Yeah, dead. I consider if you need runner, you're dead. Clash of the Titans for a 700K pot out of nowhere. Wow, took $60 in that tournament. Congratulations. It's about time you want a little bit of money. Like out of like nowhere, we see me go deep in that tournament. That was the $20 ticket that got played in 10 grand guaranteed. And we ended up making a deep run. And unfortunately, just, got to play it well at the end, got to make those right moves. And well, ace 8 diamond club, we saw one. Once it was good, once it wasn't good at all. So kind of all over the place in this vlog as far as tournament choices. You saw we won a $20 ticket. We turned that into like a $60 profit, making it to the end of a nice run in a $20 10K tournament. You saw us make a huge blunder in that $50 tournament, which we got in through a $7 ticket. And unfortunately, passed on those eights, played that queen 10 suited with a crippling stack. Just a major lesson to be learned. That's why I'm so focused and asphyxiated on it, because it's that important. How good does a flush draw look when you have something like ace 10? Well, looks like a chip burner to me. And maybe that's my negative side, which honestly is probably good that it's there, because if not, you got to ask yourself how many chips you're going to be wasting. I'll tell you, if you decide to see that flop and you hit a flush draw, you are going to be now compelled to call a bet, to call a bigger bet. And then, depending on how he plays it, you might bluff, right? And get picked off. So you're losing pre-flop, flop, turn, okay? That you're just giving away. And then you're either going for the bluff or you're shutting down. Congratulations, chip burner to the rescue. Rescue you from winning. Ace 10. We're starting to pick up patterns here, people, so. And then if you're wondering why like the same hands keep getting played or questioned, it's because, well, there's a huge pool of hands that we don't even mess with. So that's why you're not seeing any of those subpar hands for the most part, unless like this, it warrants it, where you're like forced to play like on the smaller, the big, in questionable spots. Then you'll see something random like that queen 5 or a 7-6. But you never see me opening up to make a move with something subpar. And that's why we don't see it that often. What's the beginning of the martyrs? Probably something like that jack 10. Maybe like a 9-10 suited. But I'm pretty conservative to the point where, you're not going to see many jack 10s offs. You're not going to see many 9-10 offs unless it is part of like the blinds. What's after jack 10? You're going to see that queen, jack, king, queen. And here we are, ace, queen, ace, jack, ace, king, so those are the hands that we really are going to see come up through and through again to see what happens day in and day out. Once again, we have that huge pool of hands that we're never touching. And then we got that pool of hands that we're rarely touching, only if we're like really forced into it. And then we do have our middle group hands, our high group hands, and we have our best group hands. So, what's constantly winning? What are we winning with? What are we constantly not winning with? Patterns are getting picked up. Every time we have kings, we're excited to play, we're excited for action, and we're excited to scoop up chips. What does that mean? Well, it means we make money with kings. Every time you see I have ace, jack, and ace 10, what happens? Well, you see me fold pre-flop because I'm tired of losing my chips and burning away my stack. And most of the time you see that it's a good fold. It's a good fold. Another good fold. Same with that king queen, that queen jack, that 10 jack. Which kind of sucks because, that code jack. Because you want to feel like you can play and participate with more hands. You want to feel like, hey, am I just winning with aces, kings, and queens, and jacks, tens? Like, I want to be able to feel like I can play more hands than that and win with them. But I don't make the rule kitties, just the poker gods do. And the thing is, I'm not saying you can never play them. There's just, here we go, a time and a place. And there's a good time and there's a good place to do it. When is that? When it's shorthanded. When the blinds are a little bit meatier. That's the time to open up. It's not a 9-handed hand. It's not an 8-handed hand. It's a 5-handed hand. That's the difference. We don't say, oh, we can never play these hands. We need to adjust our thinking and say, hey, this is not a full ring hand. This is not, an early position hand. Maybe I can slide in late like you just saw with that queen jack suited, play it for like a limp, don't get too involved. Pre-flop, I'm all about building a pot and then extracting some like value. And here you go. Here's a scenario where they're saying, hey, here's a flush. You're on the button, and look at this. Your flush looks horribly drawn out with 2 9s and 2 7s on board. Congratulations, you made a flush on a boat board. It's like the one time you think you're good and you can play it. What are you gonna do? I mean, you don't even know if you can call a bet of 120. But curiosity dragging you this far in a big pot, and he shows it, made that boat, which is so freaking obvious. What are you going to do with that Jack 10 suited against the raise? I don't know. I'm thinking lose chips. Ooh, Diamond Club. Look at this. Trip Jacks. Congratulations. You just made Trip Jacks. You're feeling like you finally made a good call with a marginal hand. I mean, a pretty good hand, right? It's two suited cards to the royal. You got 2 to the royal, and you just hit Trip Jacks. And you got action. What is going on? Like, this is great, right? Feeling like that moment with that Queen Jack making that flush only to lose to the boat. What's happening here? What are you going to do? Well, guess what? Before you realize it, all your chips are in. You have no chips, but you got trips. How can you lose? Oh, he's got the real trips. He's got you out-kicked with the real trips. You would have lost to the straight or bigger trips. Congratulations. That call of 90 pre-flop cost you the entire tournament. How much are you going to lose? You lose in a $3 tournament? 7? 15? 25? 50? Because I don't care what the stakes are. Once you see that flop and you hit trips, tell me how hard it is to get off of them. You're losing your whole stack, and that's the problem. And you look back and you think, hey, if I didn't call pre-flop with that 10 jack suited, if I didn't call pre-flop with that queen jack suited, with that 10 jack suited, I wouldn't be in that spot. I wouldn't be feeling like, wow, I'm stuck. So These are great lessons to be learned and how careful you have to be. So, once again, I think this was definitely a nice breakdown. I think it was a bit scattered as far as the variance of tournaments, but this is great lessons to be learned, for better or worse. And it's good that we saw it go down like that, so that we can improve next time. Because if we didn't see the outcome, we would have been like, oh man, we missed out on that flush. Oh man, we missed out on those trips. But guess what? All we missed out on was saving ourselves from the tournament. Congratulations. It's like you lost the whole tournament because of that one hand. Oh, congratulations, you lost another tournament. The whole tournament off just that one hand. And that's how vital it is. That's how key it is. Suck out Sammy in front of us. Grossness, not the way I want to win. But take what you can